You are tuned to the 24/7 channel of All India Radio. We now bring you an interaction between Dr. Amit Khajuria, who's a veterinary surgeon, and Nitish Arora on the topic before choosing a pet.
We all love animals. And if we take that love a little further, we would like to have a pet. Now, while having a pet, we are either looking for very exotic breeds or we want to own a pet to show it off to the world. But is this the only criteria while selecting a pet for ourselves? What is the importance and need of a pet? How do we select a pet? And what are the requirements of that pet? This is the broad ambit of area that we are going to talk about today. And we are fortunate to have Dr. Amit Khajuria. He's a veterinary surgeon. Dr. Saab, welcome to the studios.
Thank you so much.
What should be the criteria for selecting a pet?
People have to understand first that why do they need pet? Is it because it is their love for pets, or is it because of security reasons, or they want somebody as a companion? So there are various points to keep in mind before selecting a pet. Whether you can take financial and emotional burden of a pet, all these things need to be kept in mind before selecting a pet for yourself.
Somebody who is in the field of addressing the redressal of all those people who are having their pet, they bring it to you. What are the primary reasons? It is only because of some ailment or illness, or is it also because of mishandling of those pets?
So mishandling also happens. Nowadays, people have become aware and more humane, I can say, and they get their stray dogs to us for the checkup. Say if a stray dog is hit by a car, so they get it for a treatment. Say we can say because of humanity. So there are various reasons, not only ailments, they get it for vaccinations to prevent diseases. They get them for grooming, their haircuts, for their nail clippings. So these all are criteria they get pet to the clinic.
You actually become very emotionally attached with your pet.
Yes.
Because that pet is a part of your family.
Yes.
You cannot say that the pet is an animal and he would not understand your language or will not reciprocate in your own language. They do reciprocate in their own way, in their own manner. Perhaps we understand or we do not understand. What are the preparations that the family, the entire family have to make before inviting a pet into their household?
Like I mentioned earlier also that entire family has to be involved to keep a pet. First of all, if say children out of curiosity, they are forcing you to have a pet, but they're not mature enough to rear them up. In that cases, you should not keep pet at all, because if you cannot give time, you should not keep. Second is if you want some companion, middle-aged people, those who are retired, their children are working outside, overseas, and they want some companion. So they can have a pet. But again, that needs a time and financial dedication and obviously your emotional support too.
In most of your answers, you have really pointed out one thing, financial implications. Is it costly to have a pet, or it is very costly to maintain a pet?
So it depends upon what type of pet you keep. And most of the people keep dogs and cats these days. And having a dog and type of breed will decide what type of finances you'll go through. Say for vaccination for every pet, for dogs I must say is almost same for every breed. But say those dogs, those who have long hair, for them the financials have to be little extra because they need extra grooming care. They need proper care with their nail trimmings, their ear cleaning and their anal gland cleanings and so on. So the financials are very important. See, if somebody who can't support himself on daily basis should not keep pet, because they require food also, and the food is very costly these days. And moreover, they also do require treats. So these financial matters.
Finances do matter, so
Yeah.
you have to take that thing also in mind. Talking about Delhi and NCR region, majority of the population is living in flats.
Yeah.
And pet also needs to have a good amount of space actually to roam, because they need to run, they need to play, they need to chide. How convenient or how good or bad it is to have a pet in this limited space, the limited area?
See, again, it depends upon what type of pets you want to select. See, if you're living in a small apartment, you should not go with the bigger dogs, guard dogs like German Shepherds, Labradors, But you can go with the small toy breed dogs like Shih Tzus, Lhasa Apsos, Pomeranians, and you can obviously go with cats because they're indoor most of the time and they don't require much of the exercise. They can do the exercise at home itself. So with dogs living in the apartment, you should go only for the small breed dogs, and that is good option for the people living in the apartments.
You said Lhasa Apso.
Yes.
That breed is meant for colder regions in this hot area of Delhi.
These days, people do keep Siberian Huskies also here and Saint Bernards, and they require much lower temperature.
And again, that finances comes with
The
you have to
financial
provide
come-
them
yes,
with
yes.
a dedicated air condition, I
Yes.
think all through.
All throughout.
So friends, anybody who is interested in having a pet, keep all these factors in mind. Even smaller breeds, they need to play. I think it's sufficient space.
Yeah, for them. Like I have a Shih Tzu at home. I have an apartment here. So it's sufficient for it. But obviously I do take her for a walk morning and evening. You have to give your time, whether it's a small breed or a big breed. But you have to give your time.
Recently, there was a news that during this lock-in, the COVID period, entire year we were locked in. Suddenly, there's a spurt of demand for exotic breeds as pets, and lots of exotic breeds are being imported. Can you throw some light on that? What kind of breeds, what kind of various pets people are like now looking for and are allowed also?
It's not just this time, but it was earlier also. People used to keep rabbits. People used to keep fish at home with their aquarium at home. And people used to go for guinea pigs. They're small rabbit-like animals and they're easy to maintain. And it's not only COVID. It was earlier also. But people, those who don't have a dedicated time and say money to keep a pet, but they are curious to keep pet, so they keep fish. It does not require your time and money. And they keep guinea pigs. Again, they don't require vaccinations, they don't require dewormings on regular basis. So this is what people have started keeping exotic breeds as.
Has some client come with a unique pet which you were not expecting here in Delhi?
Yeah, people have started keeping macaws and people have started keeping turtles.
Are they all allowed? Can we keep any animal as a pet?
So you have to take a license first from the, I think, animal protections. So macaws are common these days in Delhi, I must say. But you have to again keep proper papers of import and from where did you get it. And you have to take proper permission. Nowadays, even for dogs and cats, you have to register them under MCT.
What kind of birds people are keeping as pets? And what are the special needs of the birds?
There are n number of birds like macaws, I said. There are sparrows also, small sparrows. People keep parrots, pigeons, lovebirds. So these all are different type of birds people keep. And parrots and pigeons are more common. Pigeons people keep for sports purposes also. Especially if you go into the countryside or the rural areas, pigeons are kept for the sports purpose.
Here in Chandni Chowk area, they are still...
Yeah, they are still there. But I've seen outside Delhi also, the bordering states of Delhi.
So what special needs do the birds have? We are keeping them as pets.
Birds suffer from lots of skin infections when they are caged. Okay, then there are feather problems. There are problems for some diseases like salmonellosis. So they have to get them to the veterinarian to look for it and diagnose the disease and then treat them accordingly.
How frequently should an owner take a bird to the vet?
I must say birds are, they're small life. And if they say stop eating for a day or two, then immediately the owner should take the pet to the doctor.
And there is no special need for fishes?
There is a need and there's a whole procedure which goes into it, like how often the water should be changed, what should be the temperature of the water, what should be the medicine which needs to be put in the water to reduce its alkalinity or acidity of the water. But that can be done at home.
Companionship of a pet, is this also an important issue? Or a pet is very comfortable with the humans, they don't need companion from their own breed?
Most of the pets, especially cats and dogs, I'll talk about cats and dogs because they are the ones, those who are mostly kept. They are comfortable with humans. You have to socialize them in the early age. They are comfortable with the humans, depending upon the breed again. If you keep a Rottweiler, it's not comfortable with the outside human beings because it's a guard dog. The breed is like that. But if you keep a Labrador, it's very comfortable with the other human beings' surroundings.
The smaller breeds are all very comfortable with humans.
Most of them, yes.
Which is the most ferocious breed that one should be like very careful if they are keeping that dog?
Especially if they have children at home, they should be very careful regarding Rottweilers and Pit Bulls because they can attack children at home.
So there are certain issues. If I look at dogs here in Delhi and the pets, we're talking about dogs and cats. Obesity is a big issue, maybe because there is lack of space and lack of exercise, and we do not give that much of time to them. They take care of our psychology, but we don't take care of their psychology and their needs. So how that issue can be tackled?
Some pet parents, they pamper pets a lot. What they do is they try to overfeed them. Start giving unnecessary treats which are not required. Pet is supposed, especially dog and cats, they're supposed to have only 2 to 3 meals a day. Then mostly they should have proteins in their diet. And we, again, a financial constraint, we started adding most of food which is carbohydrates. So all these factors make them obese. So we should treat them, just say 1 or 2 biscuits a day or 1 or 2 chew sticks a day, not more than that. We should feed them only twice a day, not more than that. And that too, depending upon what type of food you are feeding. If you're feeding them a dog food, so you should feed the recommended doses of that dog food.
How hygienic is to have a pet in a house? What is the frequency of washing them and taking care of them? Because normally we permit them to be on our own bed, sleep with our kids. How hygienic it is?
See, most of the dogs which are kept as a pet, they don't suffer from the zoonotic diseases. You should be very careful regarding their hygiene. The first thing is, I must say, ticks and fleas, which are the external parasites. They are dangerous to human beings also, and they can transfer some zoonotic diseases. Again, pets should be kept very clean. Regarding bathing, the dog should be bathed once a month.
Once a month?
Once a month. There is all again physiology, different physiology they have. And cats, they can be bathed only once in 2-3 months because they're very clean.
I thought a weekly wash was required for
dogs.
No,
not at all. The skin issues erupt because of the regular bathing.
And normal cold water or a lukewarm water for bathing?
Depending upon the season. If it's summers, obviously go for early morning baths. If it is winters, go for lukewarm water bath.
And for a hairy dog, I think you should also keep in mind that they should be dried properly because once the water is...
Yes, they should be dried properly. Otherwise, there is chances of fungal infection on their skin.
Normally, we have nuclear families now.
Yeah.
And having a pet is very good in a nuclear family. The pet will also have its own space. But while the family moves out, they have to travel, they go for holidaying. The pet that you have, it's not always very convenient and it's not always allowed everywhere to take your pet along with.
Yes.
So what is the dilemma? How should they tackle this dilemma? Taking it out, and if they have to keep it, is it okay to keep the dog in a dog house? How should this issue be tackled?
See, it's a normal thing nowadays because there are many boarding facilities which are coming up which board dogs for months altogether, for say 1 day to 10 days or for a month. Even for cats, there's a entire different boarding facilities these days available. And obviously one should be trained with, get their family members, different family members to get acquaintance with the dog or a cat. So if they move out, they should keep the dog or cat or any other pet with the other family members.
Are they psychologically hurt, the dogs or the pets, when you going out and not coming for days together?
Obviously, there is a separation anxiety, but I think it goes away with time once they're back, and they're all fine after that. It happens with children also.
Coming to street dogs and people who are like, nowadays I've seen, as you also said, that I have interviewed a few people who are like really doing good job in taking care of the street dogs. Can you go and get a street dog also as a pet? What are the cautions that you should keep in mind? How old the dog should be or the pet should be when you're going to get it as a pet?
See, most of the people these days are going towards stray dogs as a pet. And People pick them up from the roads. It is better if they pick them as a puppy, because when they're puppy, they have not marked their areas. They are okay with the being socialized with the human being. So as a pup, when they keep a dog, whether it is a stray dog or a breed, but you're talking about a stray dog, so keeping a pup is very good. And people have started adopting these days these stray dogs. Most of the NGOs, they're working on the stray dog health. They're getting them vaccinated in time. There are dogs in the colonies. People feed them, people take care of them, they vaccinate them, they get them for grooming also these days.
So at the fag end of this interview, let us come to the tabular form. Three things that you should keep in mind while keeping a pet.
First, why your love for the pet. If you are entirely in love with the pet and you can give the emotional and financial support to the pet, then you should keep a pet. Second is the hygiene. You should keep the dog very hygienically good. The reason being they tend to suffer from, say, tick-borne diseases, and they tend to suffer from some diseases because of the worms, because of the not vaccinating them in time. They need to suffer from some viral infections. So you should vaccinate them, deworm them, and third is, I must say that you should feed them properly and you should walk them properly. You should give your emotional and you should give your time to them.
If we are on dogs, 3 top breeds that you should look for.
Again, depends upon the choice. See, to people living in the apartments, I must say go for Shih Tzu. Beagles are okay. You can go for Lhasa Apsos. And you want as a guard dog, as a farmhouse dog, you can go for German Shepherds. You can go for Labradors as a family dog. But again, you should have enough space.
3 different budgets: the easy comfortable budget, the needed budget, and the exotic budget. Okay. Monthly budget.
Comfortable budget is again stray dogs. Adopt them, keep them as a pup, bring them home. And
how much money is required for that kind of a dog?
Just vaccinations, because they genetically they belong to this area.
And the dog food is not required. Ghar ka khana will also do.
Ghar ka khana, it does do the trick, and but for proper development for the first few months, you should feed them dog food also.
Okay, so a budget of 2,000 per month is sufficient.
For a stray dog, it's sufficient.
Okay, the mid-term budget for other breeds?
Say Beagles, Shih Tzus, because their appetite is not very heavy. They are good dogs.
4,000 to 5,000 per month.
Say 3,000 to 4,000.
3,000 to 4,000 per month. And finally, the exotic breed, exotic budget, the show of dogs.
Like Persian cats, again, Siberian Huskies, Tibetan Mastiffs, Saint Bernards. They required lots of food. They required lots of care in terms of grooming, in terms of vaccination, in terms of maintaining them.
One question that always comes into my mind, there are few households, they are purely vegetarian.
Yes.
Is it a crime for them to have a pet?
No, not
or
at
should
all.
they also have to compromise and feed the pet with non-vegetarian?
We have domesticated these pets a long time ago. We have already started making them vegetarians. Somewhere we give them chapatis, we give them rice. So we have already started making them vegetarian. But in case of cats, you should not do that. Cats are purely non-vegetarian and you should feed them non-vegetarian diet. But dogs can be bred on the vegetarian diets. You can give them soya chunks as a protein. You can give them cheese, paneer as a protein source. You can give them pulses. But with cats, it's a little different. They're purely non-vegetarian and you should not keep cats if you are a vegetarian.
And how much time from your daily routine you have to give to your pet? Dedicated time.
I must say 1 to 2 hours morning, evening.
It's sufficient.
It's sufficient. Obviously, somebody is required in the afternoons also. But if you're working, but the timing is say morning, evening walks, you have to give times, you have to groom them morning, evening, you have to feed them. So you have to emotionally support them.
I think my pitar of questions is over. I think I have asked everything which I know, the factors that comes into mind when people go in for looking for a pet. Is there anything which is left to be told?
I must say that people should start adopting Indian dogs. As our Prime Minister also said that Indian dogs are great. They're doing great in police and army these days. I've seen them, they're doing great in normal households also. I think there's a restriction on importing of dogs these days. And in that case, Indian dogs and Indian cats, they're well manageable.
Care for animals, care for pets, love for them is very necessary. And believe me, I'm somebody who has always had a pet at my home, It is such a nice companionship. Yes, there are issues when they leave you because their lifespan is less if we talk of dogs or cats. But then they don't leave you without anything. They fill your heart with love. They fill your heart with warmth, fill your heart with care for others. And that is a very good bargain. But you should always keep the things that the doc has told you. All these things matter. The finances, your time, your emotional timing, bonding, all these things matter a lot. When you're bringing a pet into your house, you're not bringing an animal. You are bringing a family member into a family. Thank you so much, Dr. Amit.
You're welcome.
You just heard an interaction between Dr. Amit Khajuria, who is a veterinary surgeon, and Nitish Arora on the topic before choosing a pet. This broadcast came to you on the 24/7 channel of All India Radio Delhi. Please stand by for the next broadcast.